Lizzo's former backup dancers are suing the singer, her production company, and her dance captain for sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment, among other allegations. Arianna Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noelle Rodriguez filed the lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court. In a statement, the trio's lawyer, Ron Zambrano, said how Lizzo and her management team treated their performers go against everything Lizzo stands for publicly.
Gaining weight.
Davis filed the suit with Crystal Williams and Noelle Rodriguez. They allege that at an after party at a strip club in Amsterdam, where sexually explicit acts were taking place on stage, Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching the performers.
I briefly touched the performer. I was very mortified. Everyone burst into laughter.
It's something Davis says she didn't want to do, but felt pressured to do.
I did not ask for it. I said no multiple times.
According to the suit, the dancers also allege Lizzo falsely accused them of drinking alcohol before shows, and because of that, they were forced to audition for their jobs again.
She would pick and choose when she wanted to be professional and when she wanted things to be personal.
Both Williams and Davis say they were fired this past spring, while Rodriguez resigned. In an interview, Davis also describing an interaction with Lizzo.
She proceeded to say, you know, dancers get fired for gaining weight. You should basically be grateful to be here.
Look out for the big girl.
Question number 4, with a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. Say isn't so. Hate to believe the lawsuit against Lizzo.
I hate to believe it.
I hate to believe it, but you know,
sure.
Also, I'm
I wanted
never.
you to have a drink.
I'm
Tom,
never
finally.
above any of this.
I have not been drinking. I mean, I drank them. I'm not sure if I
No, of
agree
course.
with the
You're still going to
sentences
drink
or
no
not.
matter what.
I'm never above believing things like this because you never know how people are when
Behind
the camera's
closed
not
doors
on.
and stuff, yeah.
Right. I hate the thought of it just because of her entire platform she's built.
Yeah.
But like also, people have built. I mean, ministers have built giant platforms too, and see what happens with them. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I love the story, dude. I think it's hilarious. Like Lizzo coming out and be like, "Dance, you fat bitch!" Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you allowing this?
Oh my God.
Said that.
So I hate this story too, but there's so many levels. Hey, this is a true example why you can't be friends with your boss. Why you can't go out socially, because in a social environment, we've all been there. We've all gone out together. We went to a strip club, and y'all know my story. I made Max do some things that he may or may not have felt comfortable with. In the moment, it's fun, but in that moment, I have no idea how Max felt. So we don't know how she really felt, because the dance captain could have thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Hey, go play, have that moment. Now, apology could have been had if the young lady said, hey, you made me feel a certain kind of way, and be open. But she also could have been like, well, this is my boss, so I have to do what they say.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's not true. There's always two sides to every story.
Usually 3.
And absolutely,
Yeah.
usually there's 3.
Well, it's like it was interesting to me when I was watching. I mean, I've been reading about this story because I can't get enough. But like, so many of the things happened after they got fired.
Like what?
And like the lawsuit,
The revelation.
Like all of these things that happened.
But they
prior,
probably couldn't talk about it while they were still on
Very much
tour,
so.
and the tour just finished, folks.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean, though. It's like all of these things happen, and it's like I'm gonna be interested to see like how much of this was raised prior to being fired, because like that's a very different.
It wouldn't have come.
Conversation.
Right, that's a very different type of world, that kind of thing. So it's like it's just interesting to me about all of the different facts.
And there's 6 new cases as of today. There's 6 new
What?
people have come forward.
So
and
6
made
additional dancers.
Yeah.
Because like these girls, 2 out of the 3 girls got even on the tour through the reality show.
Yes.
Yes,
Right?
right.
And I remember I was addicted to that show. I loved to see those big girls. They were throwing down. They were doing the damn thing. They deserved their spots on the tour. So to see these girls that like had no careers before, really, okay, this was their big break.
Yeah.
Then you're going to get off a tour and then ridicule this woman that gave you a shot.
Yeah, and it's also the culture. Look, I have a lot of friends that are on tour, like whether they're dancers or singers and stuff, and a lot of these fights happen, and I'm not condoning the behavior, but there are things that happen because you are traveling. You see these people on a bus, in a hotel, on the dance floor. It's like a constant. So sometimes you end up hating each other. You end up kind of like not vibing as much as you think. But you have to take that with a grain of salt, because the moment that you take this and you get this reputation, you're not dancing for anybody else.
Right.
You could also think about this when she asked about the whole drinking and then coming back to set to perform. So if you're not on your A game, then and we knew you were hanging out the night before the 4, and then you had the report time at 6, and you're not on your A game, the question could have been, yo, were you out drinking? Yo, you're not on your A game 2 or 3 times, and then now you have to re-audition. Someone is now internalizing that you're pointing at me and saying I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. So to your point, we have to really see how it truly plans out. and how it was revealed. What did the NDA say? What was the expectations of the tour?
Yeah.
Because all those things take effect when you agree to do this, you know.
Completely. Look, we've all had bosses in the past, right? And it sucks because you want to be your boss's friend because you know it might get you better days off, it might get you a better shift, whatever it is, you know. But I've had bosses that like want you to go out with them and party, and until they're done, you ain't done. Nope. Right. So you got to stay there and hang with them. And then the next day you got to work and they might remember some shit you said yesterday and throw it in your face.
Well, that's the tricky part, but that's on you, right? Like my family, you know, my family is a bunch of managers in one company that I can't name. They all play with their employees, all of them. They come over on holidays, we get down. The next day they're at work, 7 a.m, they're there, and you can rely and count on them. You can say whatever you want. Maybe you shouldn't be friends with your boss, but you just have to know that on the next day when 9 o'clock comes around, you're in your seat and you're doing your thing.
Exactly. But you're also in the red light district in freaking Amsterdam. Okay,
exactly.
Like look where you're at. You're not like you're not in Christian World USA. Like you're literally in Amsterdam in the red light district. What are you doing there then?
I think part of it is the industry that you're in. I think there's different standards in whatever industry you're in about how familiar you can be. If you're a Lizzo dancer and she's talking about girls stripping and you're twerking and that's your job is to twerk, your job is to do all of that and represent and create this image. And if you're in a strip club and they're all joking, and I mean, I'm sure that if she was like, I'm not going to do this, and she walks out, she'd have walked out. She decided to do it because she was kind of peer pressured into it, whatever. And maybe she didn't feel comfortable. When it comes to drinking, I've been in tons of productions and touring productions where like there was a group of people. In fact, almost every touring production I've been in, you go out and you get drunk. But it's not, maybe there's 3 people that didn't. And so when it's told to everybody, those 3 people feel all offended, like, well, I wasn't the one. But, it wasn't targeted against you.
If they get fired for that, then that's where the lawsuit comes in.
So maybe it is, I feel like there's like a little bit of truth on both sides to it.
And again, we'll continue to follow this story. Obviously, we'll find out what's going on, because of Lizzo's, tour and her inclusivity and just all her love. Like, come on, I love you, bitch. That is like my anthem, Like, I love her. So we hope that it all gets resolved, and we love you, Lizzo, anyway.
Absolutely.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.